want to hear what we have for you next with FansUnite, our next super stock company spotlight. Fans has been, they actually debuted with us just a couple of weeks ago. The company's had some, pretty significant news, and we've seen kind of a building here. It actually ties in very well to our previous presenter, which is involved with the live sports business, fan engagement, and fans is actually is on the other side of that, where people can actually bet on sports. You enable betting on sports and also esports, which is now becoming even bigger than actual sports itself. So Darius, with that said, we got a lot of new people in the audience here. So can you kind of maybe give us a quick snapshot of exactly what does FansUnite do?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jack. I think it's a good segue from the last company with fan engagement, as kind of we take it on another level, which is sports.
It's a more committed level of an engagement, right? When somebody's trying to bet.
Exactly. But yeah, so we're a sports betting company. We've been around for 7-8 years. We went public just this year in May. We've done a couple of acquisitions already, so we've been very busy in the last 6 months. We're really focused on the technology side of sports betting. So we're the technology behind the sports books. We have our own business-to-consumer brands, direct-to-consumer brands that we've launched, and then our big blue skies where we white label or license our technology out to other sports books who want to take bets on sports, or most recently esports as well.
Okay, so one of the really interesting news items you had a couple of weeks ago was that you white label the technology, but you also operate your own online casinos, sports books, etc. Like McBookie, which is I guess a Scottish company you have. They announced that massive increase in revenues once live sports started. Can you talk a little bit about McBookie and what you're doing in that area?
Yeah, we're super excited about McBookie. So that's a company we acquired as part of our go public strategy. So we acquired them in March, went public in May, and just their growth in the last 6 months has really validated our acquisition of McBookie. So just year over year, from this time last year to this time this year, we've seen huge gains, about 400% gains. So the return of sports was huge for us. Return of all the major soccer leagues now. Premier League's back, Scottish soccer's back. So it's been very, very good. And we're continuing to really grow organically. We're now getting ready to actually put some fuel on the fire, put some money behind McBookie and really take it to the next level. So we're excited about the next 12 months for McBookie.
Okay, and what's actually, to break it down, what percentage of your business is running your own direct to consumer the esports betting sports betting versus selling the technology solution to casinos and other operators?
Yeah, so right now we have 4 B2C brands live. Those are our own that we run, that we market, and take the bets on those. That's McBookie, Esports Bets, Esports Pools, and Vamos, which is our Latin American brand. So those are our B2C brands. Those platforms have about 350 million of betting volume since inception, over 300,000 registered members. So that's our B2C brand. We're focused on growing those right now, mostly McBookie and Vamos. And then on the B2B side, where we're white labeling our technology out, we have 4 contracts signed. We have 2 of those live up and running right now. The other 2 hopefully going live this year as well. And there's a lot of growth opportunity there. That's been all completely inbound traffic for us. We were just nominated as one of the top esports suppliers of the year, which was exciting for us. So we're getting a lot more inbound. We want to get as many clients as we can licensing our technology. That's really the blue sky for us here at FansUnite.
And one of the interesting things is now you're entering the U.S. market, which is massive opportunity. Sports betting is that's going to be you've had a number of huge stocks. Or massive runs and companies like Penn Gaming. You have DraftKings. They're moving on the excitement with sports betting in the U.S. Can you talk a little bit about your U.S. expansion? And I think the focus is going to be on the esports side, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So, speaking to our investors over the course of last year, we've told them, we don't plan on going into the U.S. market as an operator. It's very time consuming, it's expensive, you're going against really deep pockets. As a technology company, we had this opportunity to partner with a company called GameCode to get into the U.S. market. So our entrance in the U.S. market got accelerated by, probably at least a year and a few $1 million. But we're coming into that partnership as the technology provider. So we are going to be the back-end solution essentially for esports with a couple other partners to actually launch esports sportsbooks in the US in regulated and licensed markets.
Okay, and again, there we do have some a lot of new people in the audience, and they may not really be familiar with esports, the betting, actual betting on esports. So can you give us a snapshot of what is esports all about, and how big is the market for people betting on these esports teams, on video games, all that stuff?
Yeah, just to give a bit of background on that, we were really focused on the sports betting side, traditional sports, but we knew we always wanted to get into esports, and that's why we did this merger with Ascot a couple months ago, which has been amazing for us, just to bring in the technology, the team, the platforms. And so esports is really betting on video games, professional video games, games like Counter-Strike, League of Legends, Dota, Fortnite. It's that opportunity, and it's such a massive, massive space right now because it's a global sport. It's a younger demographic. There's huge viewership. Now more and more people are betting on it. It's now one of the top betting sports in the world, and you're seeing it continue to grow a lot faster than all the other traditional sports. So it's a huge opportunity for us right now, and we're still at the beginning stages of esports as people really start to understand what esports actually is.
I think we talked about it before. Like, now you're entering the U.S. market, sort of like enabling these, casino sports books, to offer esports betting. And like one of the things we've seen, with casinos now, like in markets like Vegas, is they're all moved away from, again, they're all trying to go after the younger demographic, right? They want to go after people who are in their 30s, let's say 20s, 30s, who are going to spend money because they're where they're making the real money now, or before COVID was the nightclubs. That was like probably the biggest revenue generator. It's no more of these live shows. It's really these nightclubs, and the people who are going to these clubs are they're not 60 or 70 years old. They're people in their 20s who follow esports. So that really plays well. How big is the esports betting market worldwide right now? Like, what are the numbers you're seeing? I've seen different numbers.
Yeah, there's lots of different kind of estimates out there. So we try not to put any concrete numbers, but we're seeing reports of about $17 billion on the esports betting side. Esports in general as an industry is obviously massive, and the betting aspect of esports is the #1 revenue generator in the industry right now.
Okay. And it's relatively new. How long has the betting side been around? How long have people been actually, betting on these esports teams and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's been around for some time, just this decade, really. But we're pioneers in the space. Ascot was really one of the first esports betting companies out there. They were first esports dedicated sports betting company to get licensed in the Isle of Man. So that shows you kind of how early we were in the industry. So we've been in the space for 7-8 years now, and growing with it. So we've been there since kind of the beginning of it.
Okay, and there's other public companies kind of in the esports space, and I think investors, some investors kind of wonder, like, what's the difference between everybody out there, like, so, or another, let's say esports, maybe there might be other betting companies out there that are private. Like, what separates fans from the competition? What do you do differently?
Yeah, I think it's really our technology, right? So we've been around for 7-8 years. We've put a lot of time, a lot of money, over $10 million into our technology, which is great because we've been able to de-risk, our investment now, because we've put so much money in, and we now have state-of-the-art technology. And one thing we've been trying to do here as a company is, we don't want to just be an esports, betting company. We want to give our clients a full suite of iGaming platforms. So you come to us, we're going to be able to set you up on a sports book, not just for traditional sports betting, but esports, as well as hopefully virtual sports and then casino as well. So we're giving that full package, give you 0 exit points to actually leave, by being able to provide you all the technology you need to keep your clients entertained.
Okay, yeah. So I think so that's an interesting point, and so basically, you offer sort of like a turnkey solution for somebody who's running, direct to consumer, in these online casinos or a sports book, whatever it is. That now they have, they have everything. They have the live sports when live sports are on. You got the esports. They have these different games, kind of like the casino thing that you have is what, like these. What do they call it? Random number generator? What exact? Can you explain that again?
Yeah. So we have casino games. So we've integrated over 6,000 casino games into our platforms that we can then give to our customers. But we've also been developing in-house casino games. So we've developed two already, the random number generator, esports style casino games. We've built two of those. Those are now live, and we're working on our next two right now as well. So not only are we bringing in partners for the casino, we're actually building our own internal games, which will start to be distributed through other casinos as well.
Okay, yeah, because last time you actually did a demo of some of them. They're pretty interesting. It's sort of like, I guess, like a slot machine in a way. It works basically like a slot machine, except it's a video game.
It's a little bit more interactive. So
Yeah.
The old slot machines of kind of spinning the fruit wheels, that's kind of for this, like you said, the 60, 70, 80-year-olds. We're kind of building a more interactive game. So as an example, one of our games is called Crash Heist. It's a game where you go you're the bank robber, you go into a vault, there's a multiplier, and you're essentially stealing cash from the bank vault, and your money is going up and going up and going up. But at any time, completely randomly, the cops might show up and you lose everything in your bag and you get arrested. Or you can just leave at some point, you take your money and go, and you get to keep that. So it's a little bit more interactive. People are kind of engaged. It's fun type games, esports style. So it's been getting some really, really good traction right now. So we're excited about the games we're building.
Interesting. Now, one thing that I think would be interesting to talk about is, can you talk about like some of the comps in the space? Because like right now, the company is kind of like in the early stage. You have revenues. We'll talk about the revenues, but really, the main asset really is the technology, kind of the traction that you have. What are some of the valuations of peer groups in the space right now, like esports and sports betting? Can you talk about those?
Yeah, like you mentioned, Jack, I think we're looking at some of those massive companies in the US, and obviously we're not at those levels yet, but it kind of shows you where we hope we can get to one day. You're looking at DraftKings that went public earlier this year, huge story, multi-billion-dollar market cap right now. And then you're looking at Penn National Gaming. They went and bought Barstool Sports for their database of users to create, the Barstool Sportsbooks as well. Another multi-billion-dollar company. There's other companies like GAN in the US is also focused on the technology side, so that's a really good comparable to us, we think. And then you look at kind of consolidators out there like GVC in Europe that have been acquiring assets, and we're on that path as well. We've done 2 acquisitions since we've been public. So like you said, those are huge market caps, but I think we're a much lower entry point right now. But our technology is state of the art, so I think we have a lot of room to grow.
Okay, so the market cap right now, the stock is what is it? I'm looking at the U.S. The U.S. about 18 cents U.S.
Yeah, 35 million market cap.
Yeah, so the valuation seems pretty reasonable. Based on the technology that you have. So that's kind of interesting. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the traction you have? Talk about some of the metrics in terms of revenues and other key metrics that would be of interest to investors.
Yeah, so just some of those highlights I pointed to earlier. On our B2C platforms, we have over 300,000 registered members. That's growing every single day. We have 4 B2C platforms live. We're really just starting marketing on 2 of those. Everything we've done so far has been completely organic, so we're excited about that. We're actually going to put some resources behind those to really grow and scale them. We want to double those revenues on those platforms in the next 12 months. On the B2B side, again, 4 clients signed, completely inbound. Some of those came on after we got nominated for the Esports Supplier of the Year through the EGR Award, which was awesome. 2 of those are live, up and running right now. We're going to get those other 2 live pretty soon here. And then we're also going to be focusing on more acquisitions down the road to bring in some more technology, bring in some more revenue. We're on pace to double revenue from 2019, so we're excited about that. I think it's going to be even a bigger year for us next year.
Okay, so revenues are exploding. One thing I actually thought about is, in your business there is there's a cost to acquiring a customer, right? There's a customer acquisition cost.
Yeah.
Like, what is a typical cost? Like, what is a customer worth?
You see huge costs of customers, especially when you look at the U.S. market, like FanDuel and DraftKings, and they were competing against each other, spending $300, $400, $500 to get a customer, okay, and you hope the lifetime value would be a lot higher. So we decided not to play that game. We haven't spent a lot of money acquiring customers. Our cost of acquisition, especially on McBookie, is so low. I think it's around $18 a customer.
Oh, wow.
It's organic. So that's why we're excited about the the potential growth of McBookies, because what they've been able to do over the last few years has been completely organic with low cost of acquisition, with a lot higher lifetime value on these customers. So now we're ready to put some fuel on the fire there.
So what's interesting is you mentioned that the customer acquisition cost for like was it the DraftKings pen is $400-500. You said 300,000 users. The market cap is 35 million. Let's say 30 million US.
Sure.
So that's about $100. Did I do my math correctly? Is that $100 a user?
I guess if we just look at users, that database is worth a lot to us, and we're getting ready to start
the database. So in other words, that database might be worth more than the company. I mean, so it's in theory it's the stock is undervalued based on that.
Yeah, we're going to start monetizing on that user base. The partnership with GameCode again to the U.S. market, that's going to be big for us. We're looking to do some affiliate stuff in the U.S. as well, because you get paid to send every user to a regulated and licensed sportsbook. So we want to be able to start sending our traffic to regulated licensed sportsbooks. So we're going to be looking at that moving forward as well.
Okay. Let's actually, we got a couple of audience questions. We're talking about users. So we got audience questions coming in. We have Mohammed is asking, what's the percentage of institutional or insider ownership right now?
Yeah, I'll get those exact numbers for you, but institutional side, we're not very heavy on institutional. It's been mostly retail. We've raised money, over the last 5 or 6 years, both through FansUnite and both through Ascot. On the insider side, we've actually also locked up all our stock above and beyond the CSE escrow. All founders overall not just went into CSE escrows, they went into voluntary lockups to show the market that this is a long-term play for us. We believe in what we're doing. So as insiders and founders, we have zero stock coming down in the first year to show the market our vision here and our long-term strategy.
Okay, I think Mohammed is asking a follow-up question. If I understand, how are you doing in revenue growth for the quarter? I guess the current quarter.
Yeah, Q2 was one of our strongest quarters, and then we put a press release out about McBookie a couple of weeks ago about the growth there and the revenue there. So it's been a very, very strong quarter. As mentioned, we've on pace to double revenue from 2019, and we think we can more than double that again in 2021.
Okay, so those are some pretty significant growth numbers. Yeah, I'm just curious in terms of anybody who's looking at the stock, kind of looking at it as an investor in terms of the risk-reward ratio, the base, the customer base. That's something which I didn't really think about before. You have these 300,000 users, which is that's something that's would be worth money to potentially to, let's say, a strategic buyer. I mean, like, what would fans be worth, let's say, to a company like a let's say it's not Penn, but another player in the space? Would it be more than 35 million?
Yeah, I would tell you right now, we wouldn't sell the company for 35 million. So, we believe in what we're doing. We think we have a lot of upside here. We think we're undervalued, and we think we've de-risked our investors quite a bit with the technology we've built, with the validation we have on our white label and licensing out our technology. So, yeah, I would say we are undervalued. We think we're a good opportunity for where we're at right now.
No, I mean it's interesting because the esports space is very hot, and the stock is seems to be very undervalued at these levels. You have this massive revenue growth, triple-digit revenue growth happening here, massive market opportunity. So it's something definitely worthwhile keeping an eye on. So Darius, what kind of in the coming couple of months, what kind of news flow do you have coming out that investors can keep an eye on?
Right. Yeah, we've been heads down, a lot, building, of course, the technology and then getting partnerships. So, we've shown our growth with McBookie. We showed our entrance into the U.S. market with GameCode. So moving forward, we want to extend kind of those partnerships, in the U.S. market, start building some relationships, start announcing some deals in the U.S. With clients coming on board on our platform. So that's something we're focused on in business development right now and bringing new clients on. And then our team is also focused on building and growing McBookie and Vamos. So we're definitely going to update the market on the growth on those two platforms. And then, we're always looking at potential deals and acquisitions. So, we're getting a lot of inbound. Since we've done 2 already in the first 6 months, a lot of inbound traffic has come up, potential opportunities there to bring in, more revenue, more cash flow, bigger database of users, etc. So we're always exploring opportunities there as well.
Okay. Let's see. Do we have any questions from the audience? No. Okay. So Darius, last question I have is what top reasons why investors should consider FansUnite, in your opinion?
Yeah, I got a whole list of those, but I think it's the top ones. We're looking at a massive market. We keep talking about it, multi-billion-dollar, potentially multi-trillion-dollar industry. And you're looking at some of these huge growth companies, like we mentioned, DraftKings and GAN, and a whole bunch of others in the space. I think we're just getting started, but our technology, we believe, is world class. We've spent over $10 million building it. We have top-notch, engineering teams. And it's not like it's just been built and now we're going to go see if it works. It's been validated. We have customers on the platform licensing it. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of bets going through. So we're excited about our technology. We think we're de-risked quite a bit. And I think compared to a lot of our peers, we are such a lower entry point with a lot more room to grow than a lot of those. So I think that's probably the top reason. And then you look at our team. It's world class. For a company our size, you don't typically get the board members that we have, the management team that we have. Our board members are world-renowned guys in the gaming space in the U.S. market.
Yeah, we can talk about that. So maybe bring up who are maybe you could tell our audience about some of your board members in the team right now.
Yeah, so myself, I'm on the board. I'm the president of FansUnite here, and Scott, our CEO, is on the board as well. We've both been in the space for close to a decade, a lot of experience in the gaming space, starting multiple companies. And then the 3 guys we brought on board, we brought on Harish, who was the ex-president of Paddy Power Betfair for Asia Pacific, which again is the largest gaming company in the world with their most recent merger with Flutter and the Stars Group. So huge gaming guy. A lot of background in financing, M&A, launching platforms in jurisdictions, government relationships. So he's been a tremendous asset for us. And then we brought on 2 new board members recently. Chris Grove is, again, a huge heavyweight in the U.S. market. You'll see him online on CNBC, speaking a lot about the regulatory market in the U.S. He has tremendous access to deal flow. Extremely bright guy, and we're pretty fortunate to have someone like that on our board. And then we also brought in another industry heavyweight, which is James Keen, who's one of the first early founders of Paradise Poker, which later sold. So he's been in the space for decades as well. So to have guys like that on a company of our size is kind of another validation point of what we're trying to accomplish here, is they believe in what we're trying to do. These guys don't sit on a lot of boards, right? So it's exciting for us.
So something you just brought up, which I haven't asked you about in the past, was you mentioned this access to deal flow. Now you had this merger with Ascot. Are you looking at other M&A opportunities going forward? Is that something that's on your radar right now?
Yeah, it's on our radar. We've done 2 acquisitions now this year already. It's on our radar for sure. And we're kind of the advisors, the board, and our team. Like you said, we're getting tremendous access to deal flow. So we're looking at strategic opportunities. We want to be able to bring in more revenue. We want to be able to bring in opportunities where we think we can really add value, whether that's saving them money by using our technology, or really growing and scaling those businesses using our team and our resources. So we're always looking for opportunities to bring more technology in-house, more offerings for our full iGaming suite, more revenue, more cash flow, and enter into new markets. So yeah, we're always looking.
Okay, what's the value in this business? Which things have value? Is it like the operating technology, or is it like the creative side, like the actual games themselves? Like which things are kind of considered valuable in your space?
Yeah, all of the above. So, our database of users is valuable. Our technology is our biggest asset, being able to license that out. That's where we're going to see tremendous amount of growth, because every client we bring on board, we charge them monthly fixed fees, but then we also do revenue shares with them. So as they grow, we grow with them. When we have a couple already on board, once we get to 5 to 10 to 50, you're going to really start to see that revenue compound. So that's what we're excited about. And you're seeing a lot of companies in the space, even DraftKings, they've finally made a decision that technology was their biggest cost driver. So they need to bring technology in-house. So they went out and bought SB Tech, which is a sports betting supplier for, I think, about $700 million US. So a lot of these companies are bringing technology in-house. Well, Scott and I have maintained since the very start, we're always going to have technology in-house. So I think we have a huge opportunity now to go out there and showcase our technology to these huge companies where they're their technology is their biggest cost driver.
Yeah, it's funny. In DraftKings, on their last conference call, they were the CEO was very, very bullish on esports.
He was.
I mean, I think they see esports as being one of their biggest categories, so maybe even bigger than actual sports. So there's a lot going on in this industry, and we're kind of in the early days here. So let's see. We don't have. I think we're out of questions. So I think we got a lot to look forward to in the coming weeks. Darius, I want to thank you again for sharing your time with us, and we'll catch up with you on the next live stream. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today in the live stream.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you, everybody, again. Thank you, Darius.